Hey, Crystal Maiden here, and we're still in Eldin Twilight. So many houses that are awkward to get out of as the wolf. The inn, for example, took a lot of wandering around getting out of it. Sometimes you have to go in a certain spot, and Midna will let you jump out of there. Sometimes you have to climb up a bunch of stuff. It's very confusing. You saw an X over that sign with Mallow on it. Now, I'm not sure why that's there. I'm not sure why Mallow's head was already on the sign. It looks very lazy, or maybe I just didn't look at the sign carefully enough. But basically, this is a pretty dark story, a little subplot here, because this is the general store. And it's implied that the owner of the store got turned into a shadow beast when he was killed by them. So not only are the shadow beasts a threat to the civilians, they're basically a zombie apocalypse. They turn people into them. It's not just that the shadow beasts are like they used to be regular people. Well, regular. But they also turn humans into them. So I guess they're like a disease. And this is a primary example of how awkward it is. Like, it took a while for the camera to show me that I could go through that crawl space. I forgot where it was. But yeah, it's pretty dark. They basically confirmed that the general store owner died. Like, this place is basically a ghost town. Nobody is there other than Renato and Barnes. Why did they survive? Like, Kakariko Village is supposed to be the main country town of the game, but instead that's Orden, and Kakariko Village is just almost completely abandoned. There is like houses that are boarded up. It was really hit hard by the Shadow Beast invasion. Imagine if that happened to Orden. And you know what really sucks is that you can't do anything about it. It stays abandoned and lifeless for the whole game. It would have been cool if you had a money sink where you could donate even more to the village and make it so that people from Castletown would be able to move in there. You could repopulate Kakariko Village. That would be pretty cool. You'd have a nice way of spending your money after you buy the magic armor. You'd have a nice way of making it feel like an actual village instead of an abandoned ghost town. That's, I guess, supposed to be Wild West themed. But yeah, for the wolf howling, you basically have to press B to listen to the... Like a green line moves along and you have to memorize. Like, it's a good idea to make a shape in your mind of what shape the notes make. Like what shape the lines make. Like if it's an upside down V shape. It's also a very good idea to listen to the audio when you're howling and like listening, because it's hard to do it. It's hard to do it without listening. The wolf howling is not as detailed as in Ocarina of Time. Like, there's only 3 notes that you can howl, and at that, the pitch of the notes depends. Like, it's not completely consistent. It depends on what song you're howling. So it's not like you can go to Howling Grass. It's not like you can go to Howling Grass and, like, howl any song in the game that you want at your leisure. Not that it would matter anyway, since all howling does is 1, summon the horse or a bird later on, and 2, like of course the golden wolf is summoned. It's easy to forget where the golden wolf is summoned and that you need to go to him. So it can be easy to miss out on hidden skills because you completely forget, because often it can take such a long time to become a human again. Thankfully, a lot of the times, at this point in the game, the golden wolf will be like right in front of you. Like, he'll be on the way, so it'll be kind of hard to miss him. Like, there was a golden wolf. Like, it's only when you get the ability to warp freely that you're expected to do more memorizing of where the golden wolf is. Like, he teaches you hidden sword skills, as I showed off earlier. I hate this. Like, it's kind of hard to... Why can't the pink fences always be there instead of only appearing when you're close to them? That means you have to memorize your way around these arenas. And when there's gaps between them that you're expected to walk through, it's annoying because you don't always know where the pink fences are. It's always so annoying dealing with those guys, because sometimes they just don't want to cooperate, and you're left with, like, them resurrecting. But yeah, there's lots of features to Death Mountain. There's the steam shooters that you have to avoid, because, like, obviously you have to wait for this one to calm down before you jump. And there's a few of them that are impossible to get past without a certain item. So they'll just always be shooting. I don't have any familiarity with the Death Mountain from Ocarina of Time. This is a pretty linear area. It's hard to not know how you're supposed to progress, for the most part. I like how there's a hot spring there. Like, there's water here to make it a little bit more interesting. It's weird though, because like some of the Gorons are turned against humans for some reason. Even though the fused shadow in the Goron temple only affects one Goron. So I don't know why it's making all the Gorons hostile. That's weird. But yeah, the Gorons in the hot spring are perfectly laid back. They talk to Link just fine. But the other ones, will attack him. I love the way the Gorons are portrayed in this game. Like, the Gorons in Ocarina of Time were cute and cuddly and lovable. They're portrayed as defenseless when the Volvagia dragon attacked them. I vastly prefer how they are in this game, where they're, like, fierce, tribal people, you know? I mean, it makes sense, they're a rock tribe, they're made of rocks. I like their look in this game. Don't entirely get why they all call each other brother and why they call you that. And like there's one Goron later on. I think she's supposed to be an old hag. And I don't really like she calls you brutta. I can't help but get a bit worried because like some of the Gorons have like really big lips, and combined with calling each other brother all the time makes you wonder if their new mannerisms are based off of something. I'm sure it's just I'm sure it's not meant to be anything offensive. Mahito Yokoto also composed another orchestral piece, aside from that used in the trailer, which never made it to the final game. Okay, this guy's an eagle, or like some kind of bird. I'm not sure what connection this has with Eldin and Kakaroo Village. Like, again, this guy can't do anything that humans can do. He doesn't have hands. Why is he a bird? And what does this have to do with Eldin? Like, the monkey and the goat made sense, but it feels like they're just really stretching here. But yeah, I guess the kids just assume that Link defeated all the Shadow Beasts. Again, with the black walls that prevent people from... Well, I guess it's only a one-way thing, I guess. You can't go into the Twilight, but you can't... Well, Midna said that you can't go out of it either. So, was the postman just trapped in Faron and Orden? Well, we never saw him in Faron Woods. We never saw him in Faron Woods. And that's another weird thing, is in Faron Twilight, we never got to experience Faron Field. But yeah, I guess the kids are just assuming that Link dealt with the Shadow Beast, but that doesn't explain how the Twilight disappeared. Or are they just unable to see the Twilight and all the black squares and everything? Like, this is a moment of comedy. Like, Barnes wants to be acknowledged, but Renato just ignores him. Like, I guess they don't have a very good friendship. For the most part, this game's story is pretty low on the levity. Even Mallow says this. And Mallow is supposed to be the... Well, I guess not the brave one, but... Yeah, I'll say. This place is a ghost town. This is such a needlessly depressing village. And again, it's never properly explained. Like, something in the mines is the cause of this change. But only one Goron is made evil. So why are the rest of them turning against the humans? And this is really confusing because it's like they're all expecting you to bring the kids back to Orden here. But thankfully you're never forced to do a stupid escort mission where you bring the kids back to Orden with the horse. Instead they just stay here the whole game. Which is good. But it's just confusing because they act like please return them safely to their parents. But you don't do that until the end of the game. After you've already beaten it. Like, that's just an after credits thing. They shouldn't all be talking as if... Yeah, I don't know why I thought... Yeah, Mallow's head definitely isn't on that. It's just Japanese. Well, Hylian text. But yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, who painted that red X there? Like, did someone hear about the general store owner's death to the Shadow Beast? Venture out into the dangerous twilight just to paint a red X across the sign? And then go back into their house? Like, isn't that something that they would only find out when it was too late? Like, Barney's knew about it when he was in the hut. So I guess he was the one who painted over the sign, but that's pretty gutsy of him to risk being attacked by the Shadow Beast just to do that. Like, this is bringing back the goat catching mechanic, where you hold down A and then press, and then hold down left or right. But it's with Gorons this time. Of course, Link is not able to do it yet, so you need an item in order to do it. I really hate the load times in this game sometimes. And like how it always fades to white. I think Wind Waker is a lot more, like, it did fade to white in the dungeons, but Wind Waker didn't have obvious load times in the overworld. It just, like, it disguised them better. Cause of the sailing. Like the islands would have separate models and they would change to different models depending on how close you were to them. At least there's not fades to white in the Hyrule field. Like, it's only when you're progressing from one part of the overworld to another. Like, within Hyrule field itself, like, there's narrow tunnels that you go through in a way to mask loading up to the next area. But it's not, at least you're still doing something. At least you're still walking around. Thank God you finally get the horse back. But the horse is spooked at this point by the Bubblins kidnapping it. So you have to play a stupid minigame where you hold the control stick in the directions that you're being told to. I guess it's a quick time event. It's pretty easy though. And like you press A at the very end. So now you finally have the horse back. So now you can actually move around quickly. Finally. Of course, this doesn't really excuse the backtracking. Like, you have to backtrack all the way back to Orden. This is such blatant padding. Why can't we just have the Iron Boots right away? Like, this is a big problem with Twilight Princess, is there's so much unnecessary, boring padding between the dungeons, and I don't always mind that. Like, I don't mind that in Minish Cap, but I think the reason it's so unfun in this case is because of all the backtracking. You don't feel like you're making much progress. Like, there's multiple different times when you can take advantage of dungeon items in the overworld to get pieces of heart. Like, the Gale Boomerang never stops being useful. Like, this isn't the only time you'll be getting a heart piece like this either. Of course, you have to have a good eye to spot the piece of heart there. The only reason I knew it was there was because I remembered it from a previous playthrough. Twilight Princess has lots of alternate scene setups. The game is programmed to load different sets of objects and actors, which are AI files controlling how models behave, depending on the current in-game circumstances. For example, different objects and actors are loaded in Kakariko Village depending on whether or not there's Twilight, and these setups are all accessible normally. However, some setups in the game cannot be accessed without hacking it. The magnet ceiling maze has a layer that features a misplaced Dodongo that falls out of the sky. Bubbling Fortress Room from Goron Mines has a layer featuring some torches that were only present in the game's E3 2006 demo. The Dungeon's pre-boss room has a layer featuring 2 decorative torches on either side of the bridge that are absent from the E3 and Chaos demo versions of this area. The Lava Platform Room has a layer with a blue rupee chest floating in midair. A red-green switch is also floating in the middle of the room but doesn't do anything. So this is the Shield Bash, and this is basically used for making enemies let their guards down, but it's mostly useless until you get a skill that comes up later on. I don't really like how the sword tutorials always make you repeat the skill you already learned. I'm going to be cutting past them after a certain point. Koji Kondo planned on there being more music done with a live orchestra, but he had to put such plans aside for this game because, for example, he ran into problems with variable mix, dynamic music that has something add to it when the situation changes, which is very easy to notice in the Hyrule field because the music picks up when you start riding a horse. It's something I've always found to be really cool, even as a kid. The nunchuck. Yeah, this is the Wii version because my video footage corrupted for some reason, so I had to get the footage from the sword tutorial from the internet. I was so close too. But yeah, the Wii version forces motion controls on you, which sucks. Seriously, don't play the Wii version.